I always kind of just thought the whole grading system was a scam anyway. I couldn't imagine. I just don't understand it. Like, why would you buy a comic book to not read? It doesn't make sense. I'm a reader. And so CGC has always been one of those companies that's been a head scratcher for me, but there's this whole speculator community in comics that they buy comic books, they put them in these like plastic shells that are sealed, and then CGC stamps it with a grade, and somehow it's worth more because of that. It's very bizarre, and it's all kind of subjective anyway. I mean, yeah, they have some objective standards, but a lot of it is subjective, and so really, really silly that people put stock in this, and it's just another weird scam in the comic book industry, which seems to not actually care about readers all the way around, but that's another story. Now, what's happening today is CGC Comics has been accused of refusing to grade a book featuring a positive cover image of Donald Trump, deeming it political offensive. Not politically offensive. The person did not, just said political offensive, which is pretty funny. Now, this is silly and crazy, and of course, more discrimination against Donald Trump in the comic book industry. And props to Sticky Goose Comics, a great channel where I subscribe, and I love it there. I've covered him before for covering this today. I put his link in my Substack article as well as we get into this news so that you guys can find him if you want to. And we are under attack here, guys. I've got woke activists trying to cancel me on every front. And so I appreciate you subscribing here. Please do subscribe here as we talk about all things in comic news. My main channel is actually under danger of getting removed at the moment because of these people just mass flagging us all the time. They try to get us deplatformed everywhere. This is CGC doing an example of just this, all because we will not bow to their political wishes. It's really, really sad, but that's what the comic industry has become. I've had DC Comics people report me. They've gotten me banned from Patreon for, quote, hate speech, from Kickstarter, for, quote, community guidelines violations. They don't tell me what it is. From Indiegogo as well. And so it is a matter of time, I think, before YouTube has their way with us here because we're a little too based for them, and it's really sad. It's because I make comic books and report the news, and they know that we're the real threat here. They know that if I get any more popular, I'm going to have huge influence over the industry, and they don't want that. And I'm trying to use my powers for good here to help out, uplift good creators and things like that as well, not just myself. So I hope you'll follow us on a bunch of different platforms. So do subscribe here if you're new, but also get on these platforms with me. It's very urgent that you do so. This is my Fandom Pulse Substack where I report the news. I also have John Trent, who's a co-owner here, working with me. He is the former editor-in-chief of Bounding Into Comics. We're putting out like 8 to 10 articles a day on pop culture, video games, movies, TV, more. I cover most of the comic book stuff. So please sign up there. And of course, paid subscriptions are very helpful. It helps us survive, especially if we lose our YouTube revenue. Secondly, get on my newsletter. So this is where I've got a bunch of my books. You get free books just for signing up. I believe in my work, and I want to reward you for being around, and I want to connect with you. So there's 3 books here: a fantasy novel, a sci-fi novel, and a full graphic novel. This is Flying Sparks Volume 1. And it leads into a 5-volume, 15-issue epic storyline. It's the beginning of it, so I appreciate you guys for being there. And of course, you can read that for nothing. On top of it, if you do want to support, we are crushing it on the Emerald Array. This is our graphic novel, which is a big alternative to Star Wars, to Warhammer 40K. Full male Space Marine team, high T action, it's fighting against space monsters. It's a lot of fun. This is the classic stuff that people will love. So check this out in the description below. And this is the one that got me banned from Kickstarter. They didn't like this because they knew it was going to be a big competition. We're doing really great, 15,000 so far. And please grab this, support our channel, support our work here. All 3 of these spots are crucial to go to because I don't know how long we're going to be for this YouTube world here. So this is what happened today. CGC Comics is apparently not allowing this cover to be graded of President Trump. Of course, it's referencing the assassination attempt on him back in July. It's from a book that's kind of crazy, but CGC's been under fire this year quite a bit. I did a video earlier this year over on the main channel where people were like opening the clamshells of this Spider-Man comic right here and then putting in and swapping it out with a different Spider-Man comic. Like basically the only difference is there's like an advertisement for a jeweler in it, but that jeweler advertisement makes it the more rare version. I mean, again, comic collectors, it's like, what the heck? And so people were getting scammed on this for the sales because CGC didn't really have stopgaps in place to deal with this. Now, CGC has been getting a lot of different scrutiny this year, and people, I think, are kind of peeling away from this market. Like I said, I think the whole thing's a stupid scam anyway. I don't get why people are into it at all. But it is what it is, and they're the biggest company out there. They're the ones that everybody recognizes. And this happened. So this guy submitted a comic book with the Trump cover I just showed, and they got do not encapsulate. And you can see all the reasons here. There's different reasons to reject: an overhang, sticky substance, explicit, not a comic, miscut, COA, unable to authenticate, which and then too tall, wide, or thick. So those are, a lot of them are just like reasons like miscuts or too tall, so it wouldn't fit in there. They couldn't authenticate a certificate of authenticity, things like that. A sticky substance, I don't want to know what that is. Oh my gosh, yuck. Explicit imagery, which is interesting because I didn't know that was a CGC thing. Good on them for banning porn. But this is a weird one right here, political offense. I mean, my gosh. And it's really weird. So Sticky Goose Comics talked about this. And like I said, I've got the link in my Substack here. You guys can go grab that. Definitely subscribe to him. I like that guy a lot. Talked about this, and his buddy sent this to him, said they put it as a reject. The reason for the reject is offensive politically. I gave it to an actual CGC representative at Spokala. I guess that's a convention. The book has been graded before, but with other covers, and so it can't be the interior. So other books out there with different covers have been graded before. This cover was the one that was censored. He said, I had called them to make sure they had the right date for the book, and they took the information. They never communicated at the show, not on the phone or email, that it was rejected. Sticky Goose asked if he was charged for it, and yes, CGC actually charged him for the pleasure of just sending this back and saying, no, Trump. So that's even crazier. What a scam right there. So you can get charged for this service that they don't provide. I mean, at the very least, CGC, if you watch this video, pay the guy back. I mean, gosh, this is really scammy of you to do this. Ridiculous. And I'd pay for his shipping too, because if you are doing that and you won't pay for his shipping, that's ridiculous. So he totally got fleeced by these people, all because they didn't like this image. Now, this image is a reference to a 50 Cent cover, which I also posted in here. You can see it right there. It looks like this: Get Rich or Die Trying, but with Donald Trump instead. And so an homage cover to that. Now, the guy pointed out in the video that it's not like political violence or anything like that. That's a thing here. You can see this is Savage Dragon 119. Even the title's called Bushwhacked, and shows Savage Dragon punching President George W. Bush. You see that CGC graded this, no problem. It's up on eBay right now. I screen capped it just for posterity to show you how hypocritical these people are. It's, if this is definitely political offensive to some people. So if that's the standard, then these should not be graded as well. But it's not a standard. You know how these people operate every single time. SJWs only do things one way. It's rules for thee and not for me, and that's how they work. And this one right here, it's not showing Trump hurting anybody or anybody, hurting any Democrat politician or anything. This is literally showing political violence against Republicans, and that's totally okay by CGC. So absolutely crazy. Now, this book is called like COVID. It's a weird one. COVID Global Pandemic #1, and you can see there's other Trump covers that are actually CGC graded on here, and Sticky Goose pointed this out in his video too. And but this one Trump's a bad thing, right? And by the way, there's Bernie Sanders books on here as well that are covers for this. It's a global pandemic saga unfolds #1. I don't know who actually wants to read that, but I guess that's why they're CGC graded. The Bernie Sanders ones also have been CGC graded, no problem. So clearly, CGC has a President Trump problem here, and that's the whole situation. Absolutely crazy with what they're doing. This is political discrimination. This company clearly hates you, and I would recommend, honestly, boycotting CGC at this point if this is going to be their policy going forward, to refuse to do anything with positive images of President Trump at this juncture. Definitely write to CGC. Let them know that you're disappointed in this. Very important stuff. These companies often bow to social pressure, and the fact that they think that the social pressure is on the other side is why they do this kind of thing. That's why they ban you from places like Kickstarter and the like. I mean, that's the thing. I was reported by DC Comics pros who didn't want me competing with them, right? This is how they are, and we have to enact our social pressure back, and that's part of what we want to do here. So definitely write to CGC, let them know this is not acceptable. This is crazy stuff, guys, and it needs to change. The comic industry needs to change. Stop being discriminatory, and that is our message today. So please hit the like and subscribe button. Leave a comment with what you think about this, my friends. Make sure to go to my Substack, sign up, in case I lose you here ever on YouTube ever. And make sure to get on my newsletter, same thing, so I can stay connected with you guys. Get a free comic book for it. And please also support our independent comics. We're getting banned. We're just getting maligned by the SJWs out there. They can't handle our existence. And I just exist because of readers like you. So thank you for the support. It's been great. You're going to love this comic book when it's out. Appreciate you for being there.